That's that bit.
We can get all these forms anyway, so we don't really need to write these.
Yeah, this is just so I can talk through and you can see what it is rather than having to imagine it. You can get a copy of this on a memory stick. Right, the first thing that you do when you think you have a claim is to write up the complaint. So it's just like a little affidavit. You go to the police and you say somebody stole my teddy bear, ripped his arms off, and you tell them a little story, just like a little essay at school. Contained within that story is the nature of the claim. So you write up your criminal complaint and you put a value to it. The value of this criminal complaint is £10,000, for example. And you finish off the complaint by swearing that this is true, basically, and then you sign it. Put that away to one side, and then you're going to start doing your commercial lien. This is the first document of the commercial lien. You can send this registered post. You don't need to use a lawyer or a notary or anything like that. You just send it registered post with a copy of the complaint. Because what you're doing with the notice of interest is you're telling them you got who the parties are. Because actually that's the name I used to write on the net with, and the guy that you're suing, I've got Judge Cheatham Bad there, and a date. Under that you're telling them what's going on, that you've got a fiduciary interest in the property, real and movable, of the respondent, arising from a complaint of, and you put whatever the complaint is. If you have 10 complaints, don't write out 10, just write out one. Pick out the serious one: fraud, assault, trespass, whatever, and you just put the one in. And then, very nice legal phrase here, judges love it: for the avoidance of doubt, claimant intends to make a civil claim valued at, and then you put the value of the criminal complaint that you decided on. In this case we'll call it 10,000. And then you tell him how long he has to get back to you. Each one of these are categories. Think of them as categories. The first category is the parties involved. The second category is you're telling them what you are, and so on. This is time. Now, it's a very simple document. If you go and pull any of this off the Freeman websites, you're going to end up with pages and pages of sovereign fucking bullshit, you know.
Yeah.
I'm not a number, I'm a man, I'm a free man, you don't owe me, all that Veronica nonsense, you know. It has its value, but not in this matter. So we'll get rid of this for a minute. Now, the second document, that first document, there's two ways of dealing with that. If you're really, really serious about it, and you want to hurt the fucker, you get your notice of interest. Before you send it out, you go to a county court and you record it with the district judge. It's immediately out in the public, and it will immediately affect the guy's credit rating. But you do that, you better get back within 21 days and follow up with a more permanent instrument, this one. Because if you don't, you make a money claim. Every claim creates an equal and automatic counterclaim. So when a policeman comes and arrests you, he's making a claim against you. You have an automatic claim against him if his fails. And when you go up into court, you're not up on trial. It's the policeman's claim that's up on trial. His claim against you is on trial, not you. So the moment you send this stuff out, you're making a claim. That gives the defendant an automatic counterclaim. So be sure of what you're doing. Make sure that you have proof of claim. You don't have proof of claim, you don't have a claim. Anything, everybody okay with that notice of interest and the complaint? Right, the affidavit of obligation is a commercial lien. Now, I was talking about categories earlier. And what I've done is I've separated it up here so you can see the categories. So the first one, you've got the parties. Second one, you have allegations. And the third one is proof of allegations. The fourth one is what we call the ledgering, or the value of it. Fifth one is the surety. What's going to stand surety for all this money that I'm claiming of you? Sixth one is the time. This one here, got to get back within 30 days. And the 7th one, again, is the jurat. This is a swearing. In the criminal, it's you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth. In the civil, that it's true, correct, complete, and not meant to mislead, and then you sign it. Now this one you will be taking to a notary. You need to find a notary who will act as notary acceptor. Notaries operate under the Notary Act, 1835 Notary Act. They have an oath and they're obliged to do certain things. If any of your paperwork contains fraud or violence, they're not allowed to touch it. Anything else they can and should do. Now the notaries are not part of the Law Society. They exist independently. They belong to the Faculty of Notaries, which is in London. And the faculty master, in case you need it, is a guy called Christopher Vaughan. Notaries are appointed by the Archbishop of Canterbury.
What was that act again?
The 1835 Notaries Act.
Is there... Can you get up a list of your local notaries? What would you put in a search for your local notaries? Would you just go on
Public
to this?
Notary Nottingham. Simple as that. Now each one of these documents, the least I've seen charged for a single document was a notary in London, bit of a dodgy guy. They were trying to get rid of him and he charged 40 quid a document. Other notaries will charge 60, 80, 100, 120, 140 quid a document. You're going to need 3 documents done with the notary, so you're looking at an average of about 200 quid to get this lien up and running. So what we have here is the affidavit of obligation. You notice the little bit at the top here, proof of contents, proof of posting, proof of receipt. That's in case they want to turn around and say, oh, didn't get it. Or, well yeah, got it, but the envelope was empty. And the proof of the contents, posting and that is done by the notary, because when you go to the notary, you hand over your document, the notary will give it to his, her secretary, they'll type it up onto the lovely nice bond paper, and then you're going to put your hand up, do a swearing, and then it'll be signed and sealed, and then the notary will send it off. The notary is acting as your process server as well as your judge. Because what you're doing here is you've opened up a little trial outside of court between me and thee, and the notary is the judge. The notary is the proof that all this evidence is coming in. She's going to read it, go yeah, that's fine, and send it out to you, and she's the proof that it was sent, that you got it. And then any answer you give back, you have to send to the notary, and then the notary tells me. Can't get in touch with me directly. So the notary is your bridge from the private to the public, because this is all being done in the private. It's one of the reasons that nobody can touch this. They cannot interfere with your claim. Because you're sat at home typing it up, you go to the notary sends it out, nobody can interfere. But if they do, they're in deep doo-doo. Legally, they're in deep, deep doo-doo. So what I have here is the first category, parties. That's me and that cheating bad judge again. And the allegations. Well, just write your allegations. Negligence, fraud, malicious prosecution, defamation, whatever it is. You write it out. And the third category is your proof of allegations. Got to prove them, you can't prove them, you don't have a claim. So you put in your proof of allegations. Could be witness statements, documents, video, memos, absolutely anything that supports your claim. You might sometimes see these guys on TV, on the news, they're going into the Royal Courts of Justice and they've got a sack barrel. Or a fucking trolley with boxes and boxes.
Yeah.
That's all their proof of claim, you know. Yes, we did go to the doctor, there's the